Shiqueeta-Lee is a self-described female impersonator and the illusion of Tina Turner, Whitney Houston, and Diana Ross. She's been seen on NBC's America's Got Talent, ABC's Ugly Betty, HBO's The Wire, MTV's Made, and TvOne's R&B Divas, just to name a few of her impressive credentials. She's also won the Washington Blades Award for Best Drag Performer. Since 2014, Shiqueeta-Lee has produced and starred in the Bright Box Divas drag show, along with her incredible cast of celebrity female impersonators, and delighted thousands of people over the years. Shiqueeta-Lee, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Josh.
It's so good to see you. You were looking great. Like, it looks like COVID hasn't affected you at all. I'm not doing this hot.
Well, it has affected me in my pockets, not for as far as physically though.
Yeah, starving's good for the body, I guess. But no, I just wanted to thank you for being on. You're one of them that, you know, I'm not going to play favorites, but we kind of missed you the most. You're one of our favorite shows, and you were one that I saw more often than a lot of people I only get to see like once a year. So, yeah, you know, I miss you more than some of the others, let's say. How about that?
I appreciate that. And I'll make sure I tell the cast that as well.
Drag culture is having somewhat of a golden age right now. Can you tell us how you fit into all of this, and how did you start? How has your drag evolved over the years?
Well, I first started out, I used to play for a gay softball league here in Washington, D.C. It was the Naga tournament. And everyone on the team had to dress up and be a drag queen for the last finale hurrah of this season. And so I was the last person that had joined the team. So I was the only one that never really, you know, had competed in the contest before. So it must have been titled a camp drag pageant. It was called Miss Magic. And the guys, you know, mostly is like, you just put on a wig. They still had the beard. They had hairy chest and all that stuff. And I told them, I said, when I'm going to do it, if I do it, I'm not doing that in front of all these people that I don't know looking a fool. So they was like, okay, well, do it however you want to do it. So I went out and looked for a professional drag queen and hired them to do my makeup and all that stuff. And I'm already a singer. So for my talent portion of it, I sang live. So that was nothing, you know, new or anything like that. And so it ended up at the end, I won the contest and I won $500. And I'm like, you can win this much money just put on a dress and a wig for 5 minutes. I was like, hell, 27 years, I'm still doing it.
That's amazing. It's not exactly what I expected, but it totally makes sense that when you do something, you do it right. Because if anyone's seen your show, they know that it's such a high production. And like,
right.
That is one of the questions when we were talking about what to ask you. I was like, I know exactly what I want to ask. And I'm going to ask it right now. You were famous at our shows for over half a dozen or more wardrobe changes on any given night. Can you kind of talk through your fashion influences and like what your favorite look is?
Well, as far as me, let me say this, that about there are all different styles and types of drag. So this is just my drag perspective on drag. Far as me as for my shows and stuff, it was something that I had started at Nelly's when I used to host drag brunch there. It was like every time the new performer came out, I had to let the audience know that, oh, that person is not going to outdo me. So I have to take and put a dress on, a gown or outfit on that's compatible to that person or better than that person or the same as that person. It was just a comedy part of the skit of my production that I portrayed. And then we started going out doing it at different venues and stuff. I was like, okay, that's going to be my stitch. I'm going to take and change a dress every time I come out and introduce somebody. And then people in the audience who come to shows, they'd be like gagging. They was like, how did she change that quick? And, you know, it takes me an hour to get dressed. It takes me 20 minutes to put on a dress. And she come out in 5 minutes and have on a different dress and jokes and wigs and all this stuff like that. So I made that a stick to my show. So anything that inspires me is more or less of getting on the sewing machine because I make all my own costumes. So to go to a fabric store, pick up fabric to make a dress in 10 to 15, 20 minutes, it's nothing. It came natural.
So do you have a favorite or are they your children you can't pick?
Favorite of what? Entertainer?
Your look. Do you have one that stands out for you? Is there one that you always pull out if you can?
The one that I like the most is Tina Turner. That's my idol. That's the icon. That's the person I look up to. So I try to copy a lot of her costumes. And when I'm performing, anything that shimmers, shakes, people will love it as long as you do a Tina Turner. So anything that I make for the illusion of Tina Turner, I like.
That makes sense. And again, it really catches your eye, and they always are different. You know, you say that if it shimmers, it gets on, but they all still look so different. It's not like one size fits all with it. But, you know, it makes sense. You mentioned during the league and your time of singing, you know, you are a talented singer. You've sang at Bright Box a couple times. You always perform in the illusion of some other amazing singers too. Can you discuss which one or many that you have a personal connection with, one that really speaks to you?
Not really one that personally speaks to me per se, but the illusion of Tina Turner, what her character speaks to me as far as I had a sister who went through a abusive situation with her husband and stuff like that. So I can relate to on that level as far as what Ike and Tina went through. As far as Diana Ross, it's always her wardrobe. So that's what I look up to as far as being glamour and making designs and gowns and ruffle coats and furs and stuff like that. And Mary J. Blige, I refer to her as more or less of the entertainment value and style of her being, because my name is Shiqueeta. They say it's ghetto, so you know Mary J is a type of a ghetto entertainer performer. So that's how I look at those entertainers.
It makes sense, and it also goes a long way to say that you do the illusion of people that you like. You wouldn't do a performer because they're famous. You do it because you like them. You see their style, you see their value, and you put respect.
Well, that's what I try to get my shows to be like, to have something different, because they're all, like I said, there's all different styles of drag. So when people come to my show, they're expecting to see illusions or characters and stuff like that. We have done other shows where we've done other people's songs. We just wasn't that illusion of that character. But anything that I put on as far as Van Hook Productions or Salute to Divas, I would like for all the entertainers to portray some type of character or illusion. Yeah, that's what sets our show apart from other shows.
For sure. And you guys really put in the work. There's some dead ringers, and it's so impressive to see the outfit change, and then you see the new illusion. Like, it's completely and wholly a different person, although the same performer's doing it. And that speaks volumes to me. But, you know, that's not the only work you do. You know, your work is extensive, and it's often spanning much further and deeper than the stage. You're always busy. I know you've done some great work for the community. Can you talk about some of that? Can you tell me some of your
Sure.
milestones?
As far as my production thing, I had produced a reality TV show. It was called Drag City DC. And our whole perspective of the show was to show people that not only that we are drag queens or female impersonators or transgender men and women, that we also give back to the community one show at a time. So what we did was I partnered with Casa Ruby, which is an LBGT youth center here in Washington, D.C. And it's a homeless shelter. And a lot of my shows that I produce, we gave some of the proceeds from each show to the shelter. As far as at Christmas time, we always gave coats, hats, gloves, blankets and stuff like that for the shelter. I even like raised money for donations for food. We did a coat drive. When we had our Diva shows, now these kids they're homeless, so a lot of them don't have jobs, or they have money to go out and dine or go out to a nice show to see a performance or a theater. And so I would give the center a lot of tickets for the young kids to come and give them a chance to experience what some of them may never experience in their lifetime, or have the money to go to a Broadway production or show. So I would give money and tickets to the center to let the kids come out. And then what else? We did makeup tutorial classes for them, for the ones who wanted to be transgender or the ones who want to be drag queens. We hosted skill set shows and stuff like that for them to learn how to become a drag queen, or how to live their life as a transgender female or transgender male, because, you know, our shows it was men who dress as women and women who dress as men. So it gave you a variety of different things. And then you have just the regular men who portray as a man. But I've been dealing with Casa Ruby now going on, it's about 9 years now, I think, that we've been giving back to the community, helping their homeless shelter. So that's one thing that we did. And then we did stuff for Food and Friends, where we people living with HIV and AIDS, cancer, sickle cell, leukemia. We help to bag groceries and food entrees to prepare meals to be delivered to people less fortunate than we are. So that's a lot of what we do within the Van Hook production.
It's just so incredible, because you've taken a platform that for a lot of people, they miss the nuances. They miss the importance of the community. They miss the struggle, because what they see is the glamour and they see the presentation. So some people I know love drag, but they don't get it. And I think it's so amazing how much you guys do for the community and how much you do to further embracing the community and building that up. And, you know, like you said, you discovered drag a little bit older than some of these kids. And I think it's amazing because I know there's some kids that you've interacted with that you've made such a big impact and so early in their life or earlier than
Right.
some others have had the chance
And
to.
also, I always say this as well, is you never know what someone is going through. A lot of times, just like the shows when we come out there to the theater there, a lot of people have never been to a drag show, never seen a drag queen up close and personal. And then when they actually see the show, well, first of all, they come into the show with a different perspective of what a gay person is, or what a drag queen is, or what a transgender is, or transsexual. Then after they see the show, they look at it as a different, like, oh, this is entertainment. This is, you know, something worthwhile seeing. And the response we get from a lot of people after we perform is that, oh my God, I really enjoyed the show. This is my first time ever seeing a drag show. I didn't know it was going to be like this. And that's the reason why I do what I do.
Yeah. When people used to ask me how to describe it, all I could say was fun. And then all I could say to them was, if anyone was on the fence about it, that they should go, because you have to go. And often, I know you've seen it, we both have seen it, the husband comes in with his arms crossed, but by the end, I'm like checking in on final tables and he's waving $1, he's waving 5, he's waving 20. You know, you make believers out of people with how fun and approachable. And like you said, I think that's really important to furthering the conversation. You know, I've never met someone that after the show was like, I'm never coming to this again. You know, it's like they either knew they were going to like it and it reinforced it, or you make believers out of people. And that's another powerful thing for the entertainment aspect of it, is you break down barriers in a very organic way. So that is a big question, though. You know, drag is rooted in the live experience. But COVID has changed that performance landscape, right? It's not as popular right now to get up close and personal. So how has that experience evolved for you? Because I've noticed you have still been staying busy.
Well, for me, I try to make myself busy. You know, I can make $1 out of lemon, but no, but it's been really rough for more especially the local queens in Washington, D.C., because in D.C., there's no venue or restaurant that allows live performance or entertainment. So a lot of us has been traveling to Virginia or traveling to Maryland to be on different shows there. And it's really hard to get on shows there because the girls who live in Maryland and Virginia, they don't want you coming to their area to be on the show because, you know, they need to work. And then for a while, I did live virtual shows online. But then, you know, I got discouraged because I would see other queens do something and they have like 100, 200, 300, 400 people watching. And then when I would do it, I have like 50, 60, 70. I'm like, well, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And I think I'm set up better than them, stuff like that. So, you know, you got discouraged about it or whatever. So I've done a few of those, and then just trying to get the girls to come over. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get up and drag and ain't getting no money. And then, you know, because you're doing it, trying to get tips and make money from people tipping you that way. And a lot of people, for me, we did pretty good with it, but I was more or less of, if you enjoyed what I did and you told someone else, that's still, when this stuff is over, at least I have you as on my fan base roster that I can say, look, we are back in action. Come out and see the show and stuff like that. So it's been rough, but it's been a struggle.
It's so new for everyone. I mean, you know, Bill and I had always talked about wanting to do these interviews and how much we learn from performers that we love to share with people. And when COVID hit, we said, well, okay, what else do we have to do? You know, right? Like, not in a bad way. We're so busy at times that we didn't make room in our schedule for it. And, you know, we've talked about it personally. This is something we want to continue for years. You know, once COVID is over, or to a sense of normalcy, whatever, we're back to shows, I still want to continue doing these interviews, because it's like the silver lining for me is finding these other ways to connect. And I know you did, like, correct me if I'm wrong, like a paint night and a few other things. Like,
after we couldn't do anything in DC as far as performing anything, I have a big yard. So I went out and bought some tents, and I started hosting drag shows, a drag brunch in my backyard, and I did a sip and see in my backyard as well. But I'm not going to go into detail because somebody might see this and report me. Well, but it was great. So, you know, I'm always have a creative mindset, always inventing new things and new ways to make money. For a while, I did online bingo. I did that for 7 months, what kept me afloat. So it's just a lot of things. You know, I just try to think of stuff going. Every time they say this is closing down or that's closing down, I get back when I'm asleep or late at night. I'll be up thinking about what new things can I think of, what new ideas can I do, what, you know, to make ends meet.
Yeah, well, and that's part of what I've always loved about you is you're ingenuitive and you're hardworking. And like you said, you can't be bored. You can't be slow. And I respect that. And for that reason, I don't see us ever stopping drag. Like, drag is so fun. You put so much work into it. You put so much heart into it. It helps the community. It's been again, one of them that I've missed the most. So
Okay.
I really want to thank
Appreciate
you
that.
for meeting, chatting with me today. I hope to see you again soon. I hope to see 26 dresses the next time I see you. Sounds like you're cranking them out. So
Okay, once they open up everything, I plan to be at that theater every month until we start back every other month.
all right. We miss you. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Miss you too. Thank you so much for having me. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. People.
Bye.